So I wasn't sure how I was going to tell anyone. Like, a shoe got thrown at my head. You have no idea how irritating it is to try to sleep and a hat or a shoe or whatever gets thrown at me. Now, for some reason, at 3 in the morning, and we all sleep in my room now because I want my children to be safe with me. So they're all sleeping in my bed with me. There's 4 people in that bed right now. And again, like I said, I'm going to zoom in. But for some reason, the kids start to like shuffle. My daughter starts to shuffle, then my son starts to shuffle. And right there, something gets thrown at us. And at first I didn't realize that it was actually 2 things that got thrown at us. But I'll zoom in and you'll be able to see what the hell. There's me waking up. Alright, here's the close-up. See, we're sleeping. You can see me asleep. Just falling asleep. It always throws things right when I'm just about to fall asleep. I can't believe I'm calling it, but whatever the hell it is. Oh shit, I should probably... well, I guess I'll tell you guys the layout here. You're about to see my daughter's knees first. She starts to shuffle around in bed. The clip is about 1 minute and 28 seconds, but the surveillance runs right through my phone. It's wicked. So as soon as something happens, I like pulled out the phone, screen recorded it, and yada yada yada. But just give it a moment here. I've never done this before, uploading a friggin' video like this, so I'm not exactly structured. Alright, there's my daughter. She starts to like stir around, and when she got herself comfortable, she kind of like put her feet up against my son, which I think kind of woke him up a bit. So now his hands start going, and his knees raise up right there. But it's almost like her foot is like kind of in his knee. And then after that, something gets thrown. Bam! Right there. And you can see my head on the other side. It shook the bed when it hit me. And I immediately looked over in the direction, because I wasn't fully asleep yet. And then I pulled my phone out immediately. I'm like, what the hell is... Alright, so this is part 2 of my haunted house problem, and I am going to walk you through the slow motion of this video so that you can see that in the middle of the night we got something thrown at us. Because in this haunted house that I'm in, that's what happens. We get things thrown at us. Other people's haunted houses, they get like, a door will open. Sure, that's happened, but in the last 2 weeks, we are dodging things in this house, and it's really annoying. Okay, so here, let me zoom in for you for a second. I want you to see, first and foremost, that this video is 1 minute and 28 seconds in length. My surveillance I have had in my house for less than 24 hours. I just bought it. Good old Amazon delivered that shit to my house this morning. And I set it up. I've got one in my room, and you see that light across the hallway? That's the surveillance in the hallway. And after seeing what you're about to see, where something threw shit at us in the middle of the night, you better believe at 4 o'clock this morning, because I couldn't sleep, I ordered 2 more surveillance video cameras to come to my friggin' house. So, here's the little thingy. See it? Today, 7:22, 3 in the friggin' morning, and that is me sleeping. But you can also see on the bed is my baby. That's little baby Joshua. Because we're all sleeping in my bed right now. Because we don't want to be alone in rooms. Because this is friggin' scary. Now, see those feet right here? Let me just draw for a second here. See that? That's my daughter's feet. And then, right here, this is the head of my son. He's laying this way. Okay, so that's the layout here. This canopy we put on the bed because things get thrown at us when we sleep. And I don't know how I came up with this idea, but putting something around the bed so in case anything hits us, it'll like bounce off of the canopy, and it worked. I'm so happy to say that it worked because, well, you're about to see something got thrown at us and it bounced off the canopy. Ha ha ha, stupid ghost. Suck it. That ghost can suck it. I'm so mad. Okay, so... okay, I'm not trying to aggravate the ghost, but here, let's go over it. Let me zoom in. We're gonna look at this. Oh, maybe I should. Hold on. Crop. 9:16, this bugger here. Okay, here we go. So that you get a nice wide view of it. Alright, so you see how the number at the bottom of the screen is changing? That's because I am fast forwarding it. I'm going to fast forward it to where my daughter's knees start to move. So her knees move upwards, and she shuffles around enough that it wakes my son up. And then my son's knees start to raise up because he's trying to get comfortable. And you see her foot is kind of nestled into his knee. Now I will press play, and you will see that something gets thrown at us. And I should turn the volume up. Right there. And you can even hear it. Right? It tried to hit my son, but I think it was actually two things that got thrown. And then you see me look over because it shook the bed. Now, knowing that this is a completely dark room and all of the kids are on the bed with me, sleeping, half asleep, shuffling, just barely, you know it's not us, you know? Alright, let's watch it again. So you hear how it goes ting, ting. That's when I realized it must be two things, and then I noticed on the bed. Let me slow it down. See, there's a black thing. Let me go back. This is me trying to be as investigative as I can be at 4 o'clock in the morning. But here, where is it? Where's the spot? Okay. See, there's one thing. There's a black thing. And then there's the white thing. It was two things that were thrown at us. Right there. That's why it goes ting to. I haven't even gotten out of this bed to go check what the hell it was either. Because you know how weird it is to like have your feet dangling off the bed in a haunted house. I just keep my feet up here. Okay, so yeah, that's day one. This is us having surveillance only for one freaking day. And I mean, I've got more videos on my cell phone, but I don't want to show anybody that. I have shown people, but in private. Because it's sad. Those videos are sad because it's my children and me getting scared, and I don't think that those should be posted because it just doesn't feel right. You know what, girl? Same. That is the first thing that I did. When I tell you that the moment that this thing started throwing things at us, the mama bear woke up out of me and I began to yell this thing out of my house. I was like, I think I said something along the lines very loudly, was like, get out of my house, you are not welcome here. Like, I just went off on this thing. In Jesus' name, I rebuke you out of my house, leave. You know what the response was that I got? It threw a metal rod at me across the room. Right across the room, me and my children were all in the room, and whoop, it friggin' throws the screen lining. You know how you've got a window, right? And then you've got the mesh on the inside of the window, but the mesh is held by like white trim, like a metal white trim. I didn't have a screen window in my house for a really long time, and that metal white trim, it whipped that rod at us, along with some toys and some stuffed animals, and now me and my kids are barricaded in my room. And we're from the hallway into our room, things are getting thrown at us. That was the first night where I contacted my mother at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, you have to let me come over. Which only lasted for like 3 days because they didn't believe us. All we had was our word. And my parents, which this really hurt my children, because my parents tried to blame my children, but my children already knew that we were all having this happen to us. And now my children have to kind of go through this process of wondering why family that they trust and love are blaming them for something that they didn't do. That's one of the reasons I bought the surveillance. Because it's been a lonely feeling. Because we went to family to try and get support. Well, look at where we are. I'm making the video from inside the haunted house. Just nobody immediately will support us in this situation. I've got to keep trying to make money. That's why you also see me posting videos of making my coloring books and making my stickers and everything with my registered home business that I do. You know, I need to save up to move out of here is one of the only things that I do. And as for the Florida water, yes, I didn't even know Florida water existed, but I went above and beyond just Florida water. My mother had Florida water that she purchased, so I brought in the house. I already have rosaries. My kids have already been praying the Our Father since they were like 3 years old. But I couldn't locate my 2 rosaries that I had, so I bought 4 more rosaries, 2 crucifixes, 3 statues of Jesus, and 4 picture frames of Jesus. And I've had them all blessed and put Florida water on them. And rest assured, unfortunately, nothing worked. I had a priest come and bless my house 3 weeks ago. Because a wonderful indigenous woman had offered to smudge my home because she knew how to do it. I've never actually smudged my home before. The indigenous woman took one look at the situation in my house when she was going to come and sage. And she turned around, you know, she told me, she said, girl, you need a Catholic priest in here to bless your home. And when an indigenous woman tells you what you need is a Catholic priest, you take a step back. And honestly, that's when I started going back to church. I've been confirmed. I've had the Eucharist, right? I'm actually a godmother by ritual rite. The only thing that I didn't end up having was the rite of marriage. But believe you me, we started up kicking our faith. Aside from the fact that I read the Bible almost every single day, and we've got rosaries and children in here who often pray, I wanted to be in sacred places. She told me to go get the Catholic priest. I went to the church, and I started going more, and I started to show my pastor the videos of what was happening in my home, because I said, Father, I need you to bless my house. And he said to me, I brought the priest over, this was 3 weeks ago. He put holy water in every single room. It didn't do nothing. Florida water didn't do nothing. Holy water didn't do nothing. We still have objects that are thrown at us and children who are, well, I say bitten, but the reality is I got photographs and video of teeth marks that were left in my children. It's not just you get to see a child on a video getting bitten, and I don't post those because I don't want my children to become a spectacle. They don't need to be shown in their most vulnerable moments. But in private, did I show the priest those things? You better believe. And the moment that I showed him those videos, he was like, oh wow. And he said to me though, he said, I've actually seen this before. And I immediately said, oh my gosh, thank God for saying that, because I am feeling so alone in this situation. My children are feeling so alone. And the fact that they're never going to forget the summer of 2023, where we slept in a tent for half of the summer because we didn't want to go inside and get hit with objects, is going to shape my children. It wouldn't matter if anybody ever said to them, you know, oh, ghosts don't exist. They now have the experience. Oh, yes, they do. Or something does. Whatever the case is, this is going to shape their spiritual understanding for the rest of their life. Yeah, I woke up this morning and I saw an extra like 1,000 people have viewed my videos and comments are coming in like crazy. So here, I guess I'm about to kind of go through some of those questions and start answering them with videos. And so that's why I chose your comment to respond in my first video. Alright, so I know you guys want an update about my haunted house situation. Now that you've seen the surveillance footage that I posted of my house being haunted and things being thrown at us. And it's been a while since I've updated you, so I'll let you guys know some of the things that have happened here in this video. The first thing I want to say is I have more footage that I want to upload for you guys. I just haven't been able to upload it yet. You know, things like banging on the closet being caught on my surveillance footage, or like this thing grabbing us when we're sleeping, which is super creepy, I know, but yeah, I've got that footage I want to get up for you. As another update, we had a paranormal team come to my home. They are one of the most well-known paranormal teams in all of my province, not just my city. And they brought their EMF detectors over and their audio equipment. And of course, the audio equipment and the EMF was just highlighted with stuff. The EMF detectors were going off the charts in my closet, especially, which is where a lot of the activity originally started from, was like the banging on the closets that would happen. And the audio files, what they do, if you've ever seen a paranormal team, is they come over and they pretty much kind of talk to your room Like, I'm just kind of standing there, and then the paranormal team was like, if there is a ghost in here, you know, you can grab onto this little thing, or you can say something on the audio equipment. So they're speaking to my room, and we're all just kind of hoping that we might catch something on the audio. Yeah, they caught something on the audio, and they didn't just catch one thing on the audio. Apparently, I have more than one thing in my house. There was a female voice that showed up on the audio. A very polite female. I jokingly say that, but realistically speaking, that kind of explains some of the things that I'm about to update you with. And there was a masculine sounding voice that was more aggravated, I should say. More nefarious. But yeah, there's apparently more than one thing going on in my house. I know a lot of you are like, it's demons, it's poltergeists, it's spirits, it's a lost loved one. A lot of people have had a lot of suggestions for me, and I think I would need like 5 videos to go through each of those concepts, and I might very well do that at some point, but for now, we'll just, you know, understand that there is clearly more than one something going on here. And I will try and upload some of the audio files that were caught from the paranormal team onto my TikTok. I'm not sure when, though. Something else. Oh yeah, this is a wild one. Okay, first off, objects haven't been thrown at us very often anymore, which is really nice. Since we got surveillance, what has been happening is the surveillance keeps getting unplugged. The thing in my house doesn't want to be seen, maybe, but we have caught things still. It unplugs it as much as it tries to, but we've still managed to catch things on camera. But yeah, that is a pain in the butt. That we haven't been able to catch so much, but also I'm not too bummed about it because we haven't had objects that have been thrown at us, so I mean, yay for that win. Okay, this is a really weird update, but there's something in my house that is finding lost objects. I can't believe I'm saying that because I never anticipated it to happen. There's no rule book for what's happening in my house, but it's mind-blowing how it happened. Me and my kids, this has happened 3 times now, very evidently. Me and my kids went to a splash pad because we want to get out of the house as much as we can. We're doing a lot of praying. We'll sit outside and we'll meditate with each other. You know, we've been smudging the house, bringing the salt in, bringing the lemons, bringing the water, garlic on the door handles. Like, everything that we have tried to do in this house deserves its own TikTok series of different things you can try in a haunting. What works and what doesn't work. But getting out of the house was one of the things that we certainly tried to do, thinking that maybe it was located in the house. Until we got out of the house. We stayed out of the house for quite some time, like 3 or 4 days, and nothing ever bothered us. But then we went to the splash pad, and on the way to the splash pad, I bought my children 4 whistles, like, you know, lifeguard whistles, just playful ones, a green one, a red one, and a yellow one for each of the kids. And then on the way back from the splash pad, the red one was lost. We assumed it was left at the park that we were at, maybe in the sand where we were digging in. We looked all over the stroller. My son was pretty bummed that we couldn't find it and that we left it somewhere. And when we went on the way back from the splash pad, we hit up a pizza store, and the damn whistle was in the pizza store on the floor. When we walked in there, we just stopped and looked, and we were like, oh my God. That was our first indication that what we're dealing with isn't actually just dealing with our house. Although some of them might be, because now apparently there's more than one. But whatever the case is, something on the more positive note is following with us. And then it helped find our shoes, my son's shoe. This is so wild. My son, I mopped the floor. So you know what a mop floor looks like. It's all shiny and it hasn't dried yet. It's still got that sheen to it, right? And we wanted to go on another day to go for a walk again to get back out of the house. And all we needed to find was my son's like left shoe. So he's digging through his toy bins and he can't find it, thinking maybe he stuffed it somewhere when I told him to clean at some point. And now that he's emptied the toy bins onto the floor, I told him to put the toy bins back because I just mopped. I don't want it all over the floor. I want my clean floor back. And he put it all back, so now the floor is spotless again. And he's like, okay, Mom, I'm done. And I look, and then I look down at his feet, and he's like, oh my God, Mom, the shoe! Right in front of him, the shoe has appeared, and I dart my head to look at the camera, and of course, the camera is flipped upside down and it has been moved again. Because I thought it would be so cool to catch it on camera. Something good happening. The appearance of a shoe. I know that sounds so random, but honestly, that was a good day for me in this crazy house. So there's something of a good energy, of a helpful energy, or it's trying to trick people. I don't know, whatever the case is. That's my update on that particular concept. Another update that I have is a lot of people are going to get really frustrated with this, okay? But it is what it is. When I pray the Our Father and when I read the Bible, the thing in the house gets amped up. And so I keep doing it. Sucks to be you, ghost. I don't know. I keep doing it. And of course, I keep saying, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. And again, the activity gets really amped up. And then it kind of simmers down, which has been nice to enjoy a couple of days where, like, we've started to transition from all of the kids having to sleep in my bed, like you saw on the surveillance video, because we were like barricaded in my room at first because this was really intimidating to all of us. And now I've got an air mattress in my room. The kids can sleep on the air mattress, and I can take my overweight body and not be like boiled down in the heat of everybody's bodies being stuck in a bed at the same time. So again, because activity, it got really amped up and then it started to die down. It made us comfortable with being able to go into more of reclaiming back our house. More opportunities where my children have all of a sudden felt an energy shift too, and they've decided to start playing upstairs more. You know, that was nice. But for everybody who's like, yes, it's because you have to pray about Jesus, rebuke it in the name of Jesus Christ. That wasn't the only thing I did. This thing amped itself up when I read the Quran. It doesn't like holy books. You could choose to not have read the Bible. If you read the Quran, it was doing the exact same thing. It was amping up. And so I started to take my speakers and blast my speakers in the house, playing a surah that's called Surah Al-Baqarah. I don't know if I said that right. But I mean, hey, I'm new at this. I've always been a believer, but I'm a disorganized believer of spirituality. So it's like I believe things over here, I learn about things over there, and the Quran was something that I stumbled on that was seemingly having an effect. But again, it would amp up the problems in the house, and then it would kind of simmer down, which I'm happy with. Like, for instance, over the last 2 nights, no banging on the closet. Like, it actually got to a point where I felt like I didn't have to have the canopy over my bed anymore because things haven't been thrown at us all of a sudden. So these are bonuses. Here's something else as an update, though. As much as I have tried, of course, things like the Quran and the Bible to help and, you know, reinvigorating our faith, the first thing that worked wasn't the salt. Apparently this ghost could take a vacation over the salt. It didn't give a crap about salt. Okay, it wasn't the lemons, it wasn't the water, it wasn't the sage, it wasn't the smudge, it wasn't the cedar. The first thing that caused any simmering down was a talisman that I created. I was given instruction on how to create a talisman out of wood and nails, and I took those nails and I blessed them with holy water, and then I hammered them in, and I hammered them into my wall on the north, east, south, and west sides of my house. Wood and nails like the cross of Jesus, and by giving also a prayer of protection on these pieces of wood. And in the downstairs level of the house, almost nothing happens now. And I've been considering that I think I kind of want to get some more wood and some nails and put them upstairs too. So that's my first update. Stay tuned for the next one. So this, let me just kind of swipe over here. This is the surveillance footage that you guys saw of the haunting in my house. And a lot of people were like, can you zoom in? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to show you how something was thrown at us in the middle of the night. Zoomed out video. This is where it starts. My daughter starts moving around. There's 4 people in the bed. No, they don't usually sleep in my bed. We're all scared. So now they're sleeping in my room because they're scared. They've all got their own rooms, guys. But you'll see right here, something gets thrown at us. Boom, right there. All right. And then I look over because something, like, it shook the bed so much that I was like, what the hell? So let me zoom in and let me just grab my brush. Okay, let me press play if I can here. Watch right around here. You'll see right here something gets thrown. Just give it a moment. Boom, right there. And it knocks my son's leg. But it wasn't just, and then there's me, I'm looking over here. I'm like looking in this direction, like, what the hell? And then there's baby Joshua. He's waking up because now the bed is getting shuffled. Everybody's kind of like, what is going on here? So let me slow it on down for you. I'll kind of go back and forth so you get the gist of it, okay? Here we go. This is, see it? See what got thrown? And it knocks his leg. And then there's also something else you'll notice. Where is it? Where is that? There was this little weird black right there. There's this weird black thing. See that black thing that appears just before it hits the canopy? And it almost looks like something like, I don't know. Some people have said they see a face. Some people say that they see a shadow. All I know is that this object hit the bed and made the bed shook. And that's why I looked over. And I was like, what the hell? And then immediately I checked my surveillance, because we put surveillance up because objects were being thrown at us. Like, this is just what got thrown at us at nighttime. There's banging on the walls. There was I'll show you actually the reason that I got surveillance in my house, guys. This is friggin' ridiculous that I have to say that I have to say this. I wonder if I can find it. Let me see where I put it. Right, this, see that right there? That is a Nerf dart, but the end of it, there's some kind of orange plastic. Like, this is the Nerf dart. That orange cap never belonged on the end of a Nerf dart in my house. It's actually bigger than the Nerf dart itself, but that got shot at me, and it was shot so hard that it left that dent in the wall. And I know it sounds crazy, but after you've had, in pure daylight, rods being whipped at you, you suddenly say to yourself, I think this thing's trying to take me out in my own house, and that's why I bought the surveillance. That's why the days of this and this are right next to each other, because one day it got shot, the next day I got surveillance. That's just what happened, right? But then, if I can find it, there was also the next day. Yeah, it is this next day. My daughter's arm got grabbed in the middle of the night, it looked like. It was just weird. Again, everybody's sleeping, you can see. And then suddenly, if I zoom in here, look at what happens, how her arm is yanked. Ew, it's so creepy. It's not natural to do that. Watch. See how first her arm gets pulled back in this weird position, and now her whole body has to turn around to match this awkward position. Like, she gets comfortable, she switches her hips now have to switch over the other way. You know, it was just like, what the heck? And that was the first time that I thought something had grabbed my daughter. But of course, when you're looking at it, I was like, oh, I don't know, I don't really know what to make of it, but it's still, in my gut, I was like, yeah, something grabbed her. Until there was another night that the banging on the closet started to happen. I'll find that video in a second. And again, you see something grab her. She's dead asleep, and something just grabs her arm. This is when the paranormal team came over. I'm not going to necessarily show their faces, but that big gentleman there and the woman in black behind her, you can't see their faces, right, for confidentiality, but that's the paranormal team actually in my house bringing their EMF detectors. That was the 25th. So it was like, things are always happening in my house. It's like one day after the next after the next. I'm not able to necessarily post everything, because sometimes, you know, my kids are crying, sometimes they're terrified, so I'm not going to post that kind of stuff. Okay, she shared all of these files with me, the paranormal team. Like, she gave them to me in kind of like a Dropbox, and here is the voice of one of the things they caught on camera, or caught on audio.
So let's try a different game. The box on the left is going to be the one that you touch if the answer to my question is yes. Are you angry that we're here? No.
Yeah, right there.
Are you answer to my question is yes. Are you angry?
Ew, that's so creepy. I think I probably have to like show you guys an audio file really blown up of that one. But very quietly, there is a voice. It's not very quiet. I can hear it because I can put my head up to my phone, but it might be harder for you to see on TikTok. But it was a voice that says, "Excuse me." Ew, it was so trippy.
Are you angry?
Ew. Okay. And then this one was really quiet, but you see how this one says, "Is this get out?" That's because there was a voice that sounded like it said "get out." I was trying to work on getting them up to you guys. Okay. Yeah, this one. Watch this. Ugh, this is creepy too. You hear that banging? That's the banging that's on my closet. Now, watch Isabel. Watch, her hand gets like pulled. Ew, it's so creepy. Right? Like her hand gets moved right when the banging happens. And so, yeah, that's some of the stuff that I have thus far. And honestly, guys, I have someone moving in with me tomorrow. Someone moving into my haunted house with me tomorrow. That's why I'm sitting here like, okay, I need to make money. I need to get out of here. This guy's going to come over here and help me with some of the things so I can go out and get business done. Make some more money. Try to move out. And he's bringing a cat, and I'm hoping the cat might be able to ward off some of the stuff in the house. Because I've heard stuff about cats being like, you know, aware of the spirit world. And so yeah, we'll see how it goes. That'll be my next update afterwards, is me letting you guys know what it's like now that I've moved someone into my house with me. He's a tough guy. He's like a biker guy, so he'll make me feel safe.